Trinidad and Tobago, despite being relatively small, holds a rich tapestry of cultures on its shores. While the island's past is connected to the influences of England and Spain, it is equally interwoven with the rich heritage of indigenous peoples during the pre-Columbian era. This isn't the story always told.
From as young as 8 years old, we were taught that Christopher Columbus was the discoverer of Trinidad and Tobago. Then, the story changed. At around the age of 14, teachers told us that it was wrong and that he actually rediscovered Trinidad and Tobago. However, the story of Christopher Columbus being the discoverer of Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension of the New World, is dead wrong. How can he be the discoverer if he met people here?
It is said that in 1498, Christopher Columbus aboard the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria sailed west from Spain to find a new trade route to India. Although he did find land, these lands were by his account already inhabited, as he described in his diary.
Their hair is not curly, but loose and coarse, like horsehair. In all the forehead is broad, more so than in any other people I have hitherto seen. Their eyes are very beautiful and not small, and themselves far from black, but the colour of the Canarians.
These persons were the first peoples of the Caribbean, the indigenous peoples. Some of these included the Taino, the Kalinago, the Ingoni, and the Garifuna peoples, who roamed the Caribbean islands freely. More than the words of Columbus and his journal, there is tangible evidence of the people before us. There is evidence of how they lived, how they ate, and how they died. Contrary to historical tales of discovery within Trinidad and Tobago, the Banwari Person challenges the conventional narrative associated with Christopher Columbus. This ancient habitat of the Caribbean predates Columbus's arrival, raising thought-provoking questions about who truly discovered these lands. Formerly known as the Banwari Man, now the Banwari Person, as scientists were unable to accurately determine their gender. The remains were discovered in southwest Trinidad in November 1969. Mr. Peter Harris, an archaeologist, asked Mr. Hamlet Hariprasad to guide him through Banwarie Trace to survey the land for anomalies. We met up with Mr. Hamlet Hariprasad for an interview for a recollection of his first-hand experience surrounding the Banwari Fossil.
You were there when they actually discovered it?
Wow. The Banwari Person was found 20 centimeters below the surface. Only 2 items were associated with the burial: a round pebble by the skull and a needlepoint by the hip.
To get out that thing from there, when they done dig the hole, to get out that was lower down. That was a jack in a steel sheet. Underneath it was maybe about 2 feet so.
To get the hole.
For not to damage and all kind of thing.
The Banwari lies on its left-hand side in a typical crouching position along a northwest axis. Its feet were higher than the rest of the body and unfortunately were excavated and bagged separately. According to the University of the West Indies Department of Life Science. In July 1971, they presented a report showing 2,000 years of occupation, carbon dated 5200 to 3200 BC, the then earliest date for man in the West Indies. According to Tankersley et al., 2018, Banwarie Trace, a well-stratified shell midden located in southeastern Trinidad, provides the oldest known archaeological evidence of human settlement in the West Indies and has been crucial in our understanding of the initial peopling of the Greater Caribbean region. Some of these findings include artifacts, pottery, and human remains, shedding light on the lifestyles, cultural practices, and possibly the origins of the early inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago. The shells and fish bones are proof that the indigenous peoples were in fact nomadic and settled where they could find a water and food supply. According to Mr. Peter Harris, prior to this date, the site stood on the edge of an apparent freshwater lake or swamp.
Well, I mean, so long now, people full up and all that, control land and this and that and all kind of thing. So now it's
I would have been because there were people who used to use canoe and stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's only canoe on those days.
Yeah.
Now there's a river passing across. I don't even call it pass it.
Yes.
The bridge, the new
bridge
bridge,
there,
the
right?
bridge they're building.
When they dig that mount up to the sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fish used to come straight up to that bridge there, you know.
Really?
Big fish.
Those
Those
they
days.
got a new bridge now.
But now, and you know, things.
Man take over.
Yeah, well.
Man take over.
Yeah, man take.
This gave us an insight to some of their ways of life. In 1971, Mr. Harry Prasad remembers carrying the remains on a sheet of galvanized with 3 other persons down the hillock. Mr. Harry Prasad was put in charge of the site and its upkeep for a few years, until he was replaced by a groundskeeper with a background in archaeology. Now, the grounds stand quiet. A large structure was put up by the First Peoples of Arima in 2022, but the site remains closed to the public. The history of those who came before us is hindered from being passed on to future generations. While Mr. Harry Prasad led the archaeologists to the Banwari map, no credit was given to him when we visited the fossil. The museum coordinator for the Zoology Museum in the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, made no mention to Mr. Harry Prasad and his contributions, even though he's the only living first-hand witness to this momentous historic discovery. When Mr. Peter Harris died in 2013, Mr. Harry Prasad stated that this is when things started to seriously go downhill. Without the authority of Mr. Harris, the state placed a new groundskeeper in Mr. Harry Prasad's place. There's a clear power imbalance. The living historian lost his place to a National Trust employee. These sentiments were echoed by Mr. Harry Prasad.
They, both of them, asked National Trust because they responded to the National Trust. Asked them to give me the job.
Yeah.
To maintain and see about this place here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I do for a number of years. Only a couple years now.
You took it back.
Not National Trust. The got a guy they employing there. He from
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he from Santa Cruz. He come down with a lady, African lady. But Krystyne, he come and tell me I got to leave the work and I got to get somebody else and this and that. I want to touch your place, right?
So who?
Well, he knows nothing about what I know.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't know.
Right?
He just gave Peter clean.
Yeah.
The Banwari Person now lies in the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus in the Department of Life Sciences and is seen about by the Zoology Teaching Museum. Many of UWE's own students are oblivious to the fact that the oldest fossil found in Trinidad is just behind this door, which should not be the case.
Visiting the Zoology Museum at UWE, we were told that no pictures or videos of the Banwari Person would be placed online, out of respect for the indigenous peoples, as it is a burial site where burial rites were performed. However, while doing research, we found several pictures and videos of the Banwari Person online. So we decided to inquire about this. Mr. Harry Prasad said that the indigenous peoples had no issue with pictures and videos of the burial site being placed for the public's eyes.
This is a good thing, as those who cannot visit the campus in person can still see and appreciate the Banwari Person. Although years to come we may not be able to say the same for the historic site, as there is the controversy of the Dewe to Mandesi leg of the Sir Solomon Hochoy Highway extension to Point Fortin, being built through or near the lands.
In our trek towards development, we are forsaking our environment and our people. The tale of the Banwari's legacy faces new challenges. Plans for a highway cutting through the very fabric of this historical landscape loom large. The potential environmental and cultural risks cast a shadow over this invaluable site. This threat was so significant as it would displace many persons and damage the environment. Dr. Kublalsingh, leader of the Highway Reroute Movement, HRM, started his hunger strike in 2012 to protest the construction of the highway.
Right, what is happening here is wrong. What is happening here is wrong. If he wants the highway to continue here, you have to sit down. It's too large. It needs to be rerouted. It is too destructive.
The environmental activist climbed onto a bulldozer and walked in front of tractors. Police officers arrived and asked the HRM leader and his supporters to leave the construction site, but they defied the instructions.
Yeah, no highway to come here unless you put the highway between she legs. Me afraid of not saying anything big. And I'm waiting for she anytime she come here telling she just to make the highway in your leg. Not to destroy people. You is a Hindu, born Hindu, because you win the election and you're getting to holy money. You're running place to place. So you is the Princess Margaret.
There's a need for more exposure to our history in Trinidad and Tobago, and the Banwari man is a humbling place to start. Many people are unaware that the fossil lies within the campus they roam daily. Thorough, accurate history should not be limited to tertiary education. The Banwari Fossil challenges the tales that we were told, that Columbus discovered our land. This ancient inhabitant, now Banwari Person, takes us back to a time before the pages of history were written by colonizers. There is a need for re-education of not only our history, but our connection to our culture and our environment. While conducting research, we found it hard to gather reliable facts surrounding the First Peoples and the Banwari Person. While UWI and the National Trust of Trinidad and Tobago provided information, our hope is that this video gives a more in-depth analysis on not just the Banwari Person, but also its impact on the way we understand the past, interpret the present, and plan the future. It is with this we can conclude that the archaeological site is significant as it has provided invaluable insights into early Caribbean cultures, with artifacts such as shells and tools offering glimpses into the lifeways and technologies of the ancient inhabitants. Beyond its age, Banwari Person contributes to our understanding of human migration patterns, indicating that people were navigating and settling in the Caribbean much earlier than previously believed. Bioarchaeological studies on the skeletal remains have provided information on health, diet, and lifestyle, while the site's distinct artifacts and burial practices suggest cultural diversity among pre-Columbian Caribbean societies. The findings at Banwarie Trace offer environmental context, aiding in understanding how ancient populations adapted to and interacted with their surroundings. Today, we stand at the intersection of the past and the present, guided by the Banwari Fossil. This is not just a relic. It's a reminder that our history is diverse, complex, and rooted in the stories of those who came before us. Let us continue to explore, discover, and honor the unique tapestry of cultures that shape Trinidad and Tobago.
Mr. Hariprasad was kind enough to let us see all the documents he contributed and collected pertaining to the site from 1969 until present.
eSoundtracks.com